kids. Fuck the kids? Yeah.
You have just tuned in to the Mag Nerd Podcast, your home for everything in music, anime, and gaming. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Mag Nerd Podcast. This is your one-stop shop for everything in music, anime, and gaming. I am your master of ceremonies, Shonuff the King, and I am so excited to be back. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. On today's episode, we will be dissecting and talking about a variety of different things. Talking about the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. We'll be talking about the ongoing drama with Ezra Miller as the Flash. We'll also be talking about some Black Adam news along with some other random tidbits. And in today's main focus on anime, today we'll talk about the Dragon Ball Super movie. We'll talk about recent animes that I've been watching and just other little drama and things that we've been seeing floating around on TikTok, other interesting topics. So again, without further ado, let us get started with this. Okay, so before I get into the main topics of today's episode, I just kind of wanted to come out first and talk to you guys about the process for the new show. And again, I know I've done this in the past, but again, I really am in a mental place now where I feel like I have the time to dedicate directly to maintaining this podcast and just trying to move my brand forward in the future. So again, I just wanted to take a quick few minutes to tell you guys what the show format is going to be going like in the future right now, currently in the future. So but right now it's going to be a one-man show. It'll be myself. Again, I won't say it won't evolve later on in future iterations of the podcast, but for right now it's going to be me, and it's going to mainly be in a two-show format. So as you guys, if you guys are watching this currently on YouTube, there's going to be a video version, and then there's going to be a audio-only version. An audio-only version will still be on the same platforms as it was before: iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever you guys listen to your podcast, you can find me at Mag Nerd Podcast. Again, you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and then you can get the history of my podcast where I used to do it with Ghostman, and that is on Libsyn, which is Mag Nerd Podcast at .libsyn.com. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to try to get to a schedule where I'm doing this at least once a week. Now, the ultimate goal is to probably be able to do this multiple times a week, but for right now, again, I don't want to overpromise and then underdeliver. So for right now, I'm going to say that it's going to be a weekly podcast. Now, again, I have not decided if the episodes will be updated either on Monday or Tuesday, because today is Tuesday, August 16th. Or will it be done kind of towards the end of the week? Again, I haven't figured those little details out yet, but stay tuned for that. Again, it's going to be real low-key, chill. Again, it's just going to basically be me going through a lot of the top stories that are going on in, music, anime, and gaming. And then again, of course, there's going to be the random nerd news, where it's my opportunity again to talk about everything that's outside of music, anime, and gaming. Again, which will be coming up right after this discussion that we're having right now. So again, yes, so I will be trying to keep these podcast episodes down to about 30 minutes to an hour. Not too long, but again, I want to make sure that you guys are getting consistent episodes from me. And again, like I said, I'll progress further on. Maybe we'll get another co-host. Maybe we'll, Ghost will come back and do a couple of guest spots for us. But for right now, this is kind of where we are at right now. I'm trying to, move forward and make sure that I'm bringing you guys content on a more consistent basis. Okay. So with all that being said, I do want to get into this episode. So let us get started with the random nerd news. All right, guys, we are back, Mag Nerd Podcast, and we are in our first segment, which is called Random Nerd News. This is an opportunity for me to talk about other random things that are going on in the world of nerds that's not centered around music, anime, or gaming. So this is my segment to be able to talk about anything from Yu-Gi-Oh! To action figures to comic book stuff. And the first thing I want to talk about is that it is being reported now that Ezra Miller, which is the Flash, has finally issued his apology for all the crazy stuff that's been going on. And again, if you've been living under a rock, you haven't noticed that again, Ezra Miller has been going through a lot of stuff over the past couple of months, even probably a year. Again, honestly, The Flash is supposed to be coming out this year, but now it's got pushed back into 2023 just because of all the drama that's been going on. And again, I will talk about that a little bit later, talking about the WB merger and, Discovery and all the issues with Batgirl, all that stuff I'll talk about today. But again, I just wanted to kind of touch base on this Flash apology because, again, it's really, really hot off the press. It literally just happened about an hour or two ago. So it looks like, according to a Variety, the 29-year-old actor confirmed that he is suffering from complex mental health issues following a series of issues, including assault and abuse allegations. And basically, his statement is as follows: Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering a complex mental health issues, and I've begun ongoing treatment, Miller said. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy and safe, productive stage in my life. And that's kind of what he just said in its totality, right? So the reason why this apology is very important because it was already reported last week that Warner Brother Discovery had three options for the new Flash movie. It was either one, Ezra Miller comes out, apologizes, and then after his apology, he will do limited interviews and press for the Flash. Option two was they were going to cancel the entire movie, shelve it, do whatever it is. And I'm sorry, I apologize. So option one was he would come out, do an apology. Option two would be they would go ahead and release the movie anyway and do zero press for Ezra Miller. He would just basically, they would pretend that he wasn't there, and then he would basically just no longer be the Flash going forward. And then option three was to cancel the actual film. Now, me personally, I always thought that option one was never really an option at all, and I also thought that option three was also not an option at all because, again, this is a $200 million movie. There's no way in the world. Let me get it straight because, again, that's going to lead into another point that I'll make later, is that they're not going to cancel a $200 million movie that is actually very good and has tested very positively in the actual market, and that's just not going to happen. And again, I also personally thought that Ezra Miller coming out and doing an apology and then doing press for the film was also something that was not a possibility. But lo and behold, here we go. Again, a week later, we see the first steps of that option one coming to fruition, which is Ezra Miller going ahead and coming out and making a statement about his behavior and things of that nature. And it's crazy to me because, again, while I don't want to minimize the legal troubles that he's been getting himself into. Again, celebrities in and of themselves are not, it's not too far fetched to see them get into trouble of this kind of caliber of stuff. Like, I didn't see, like, again, I think him attacking a woman in like Australia and then like breaking and entering and stealing liquor. And I think it was another group of people who let him stay with them. And then he ended up like threatening to kill him or something to that effect. It's all been like, kind of crazy romantic things, but nothing like hyper violent or anything like that outside of the fight he got with in one of the women, and I ended up thinking there was issues there too. But regardless of that, I don't want to get too hung up on the details. Me personally, I definitely think that my thoughts on this whole thing is that Ezra Miller being the Flash going forward is not going to happen. I don't care even if he apologizes. I just think that for Warner Brothers Discovery, he is a complete liability, and I do think that he should go ahead and get help. But honestly, I don't think he should be the Flash going forward. But again, I do not think that the Flash should be canceled. I definitely think the Flash needs to come out because, again, I think Warner Brothers Discovery have a lot of good plans that they're planning to go through to finally grow the DCEU to try to have it finally be able to compete with Marvel. Not in a way that it should, but again, that's a story for another day. All right, so that was pretty much it for the Ezra Miller Flash stuff. The next thing that I did want to quickly touch base on is the WB Warner Brothers Discovery merger. So I really want to talk about this, and again, I talk about this on my TikTok channel, and again, that is one other thing, shameless plug. Please make sure you guys are following my TikTok, which is Shonuff the King. It's SHOWNUFFDAKING. You can follow me on TikTok. I do a lot of short form content on there. I talk about music, anime, gaming, anime. It's just like a menagerie of just nerd shit. So you guys will really enjoy it. You can also follow my Mag Nerd podcast. I'm also trying to build that one up as well. But my brand has always been shown up, so that's kind of where I have most of my followers right now. So, yeah. So I have about 1,500 followers on TikTok. So again, I really appreciate everyone that supports that channel as well. Now, anyway, talking about the Warner Brother Discovery merger, it was something that happened, and I, for one, thought it was a very good thing. Honestly, I really did. I was one that saw where the DCEU was going. I saw where Warner Brothers was going, and I didn't like it. Again, like there were just certain things that I thought that were very agenda based, and we're not going to get into the details because they don't matter. But I definitely think the direction that they're going right now is probably the best direction to get a straight through way where we can get the main roster together and then we can work on things on the outside. So what ended up happening is David Zaslav, he ended up coming out and he ended up saying that, the main focus of DC is going to be Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The Holy Trinity, which it should be. Like, in all honesty, when you think about trying to reboot your franchise or trying to refresh your franchise, you have to do it off the backs of who is popular. And again, arguably in the DC universe, the most popular people is going to be your Batman, your Superman, and your Wonder Woman. Not Batgirl, not Nightwing, not Superboy, not Wonder Girl. Like, again, those are sidekicks. Those are not the main characters that you want to start your franchise on. And that's kind of where this controversy kind of started, which is where I'm going into now. So a couple weeks back, there was this huge big thing all over TikTok, all over Twitter, where people were all upset because, Warner Brothers Discovery, Zaslav, he came out and canceled the Batwoman film, as well as, and I honestly think the Supergirl project is going to probably be canceled as well. And everybody was all up in arms, and then, Warner Brothers came out with their earnings call, and they kind of just talked about the little different things that they're changing and what their focus was. And then one of the big things that they were focusing on and they were talking about was that the male demographic skews towards HBO Max, whereas the female demographic skews towards the Discovery Plus app. And when women saw that and when people saw that, they just lost their mind. This is sexist and this is ridiculous, and how could you be so women? We watch HBO Max too. How could you say this? And like, I watched dozens of videos about that topic, and it really frustrated me because, again, I feel like the one thing is that TikTok tends to be an echo chamber, right? So there's a lot of people who see something and then they just go with it. And what I mean by that is that they only extrapolate the part that makes them mad, and they don't actually look at the context and the totality of the entire situation before they cast judgment. So what ended up happening is again, like I said before, it is like, the sign that came out said that HBO Max was male skew, more scripted, more lean in, and it was Discovery Plus was more female skew. And keep in mind, female skew. It didn't say female only or male only. You guys put that connotation on there to make it more sensationalized, so you can get your pitchforks and be like, WB and Discovery is sexist, and that's why they wanted to cancel Batgirls because they don't like women and da 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 da, which is all bullshit. Because at the end of the day, these companies like money, and that's what they want to put their content towards, is what makes them the most money. And that's the thing that people don't understand. This is not about, making it man versus woman and, straight versus gay or the LGBTQ plus community, all that other crazy stuff. They want to do what's going to make them money, period. And they want to still be able to respect the legacy and history of the characters that were created. That's a pleasant bonus, in my opinion. So to make a long story short, one Batgirl got canceled, and again, while I was shocked, I wasn't surprised because, again, that was, once you actually hear what they were trying to do with the new Discovery Warner Brother merger, a Batgirl film just was not going to work, especially a Batgirl film being streamed only on HBO Max. Why would you spend like $90 million on a show? And again, in all intents and purposes, most people were saying that that thing sucked. Like again, they said they did test screenings, and the test screenings came back that was horrible. And again, Zaslav said he watched it. He did not say that it fit the vision that he was trying to do for the DCEU. And again, I'm pretty sure there are other sources and things that they have, again being the company that owns these properties. They knew where the other place was trying to take this world. And again, me personally, I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to again make Batgirl replace Batfleck as Batman. They were going to have the other young lady replace Superman and become Supergirl is going to be the powerhouse there. And then they were going to try to mix in and have Michael Keaton be the Batman for that universe, but then Batgirl, would end up being the main Batman in the continuity along with Supergirl. They were going to do, it was almost like they were going to do an all-girl Justice League kind of situation. And then they had the thing going on with the CW with it was almost like the Birds of Prey thing. It was just all a hot mess. Like none of the things that they were announcing before the merger happened, I was really excited for. So I was very, very happy that they pretty much scrapped most of that stuff. And again, I know it's not going to make a lot of people excited. So yeah, and again, the way that I look at it is that again, to me, it's not about what male versus female things are, because again, like I said before, with the whole skewing of the male versus female, they're not thinking of it like that. Like it's true. Like, and again, I've said this on my TikTok and I'll say it on here as well. When it comes to comic books, when it comes to like nerdy shit like comic books and anime and all this other stuff, men, boys, 18 to 24, 18 to 40, we are the main demographic that watches that stuff, because historically we were the ones that kept that shit afloat before it became cool and popular now. Like, I'm not saying that women don't watch anime or women don't watch or read comic books, but you guys are not the main demographic that kept this business afloat for the decades before. It was us. It was men, boys who kept this business going, and we were the ones that were going to the movies and seeing all this stuff. Not saying that women did not go see this stuff, but if we're talking about per capita, like men are the ones that maintain and go see these comic books and all these other movies and stuff. It's just a fact, okay? Now the other thing is that on the other side, on Discovery Plus, where you have a lot of all this non-scripted, like 90 Day Fiance, the Property Brothers, and all the Food Network shows. Those things are mostly watched by women. Again, it is just a fact. It is what it is. It really is. And the thing is that I know for a fact that men watch those kind of things too, because again, I was a huge fan of Property Brothers. I was a huge fan of Rachel Ray. Like I had the biggest crush on Rachel Ray, let me tell you. But anyway, like again, I watched that show, but I know that females are the ones that are their main demographic. And again, that's not being sexist, it's just a damn fact based on data. And again, they wouldn't make these statements come out if they didn't have data to back it up. So like again, you people coming out here saying that these people are being sexist is just ridiculous to me. It really is. I feel like you're getting in your feelings and you're looking for a way to attack it because you're not happy that they canceled Batgirl. Again, honestly, I think Batgirl being canceled is the best thing that's going to be done for the universe. I definitely think Warner Brothers will work with all the people that that didn't get an opportunity to showcase themselves in another format once the DCEU gets itself together. But I think for right now, this is the best thing that they could have done, personally, in my opinion. Now, this last topic in the random nerd news that I wanted to talk about was there was a news story that just came out recently saying that Dwayne The Rock Johnson fought to have Black Adam removed from the first Shazam movie, because originally in the first Shazam movie it was written that both Shazam's origin story along with Black Adam's story would be merged into the same film. And The Rock read the script and kind of said no. He made a call and made a power play, so to speak, to have to have Black Adam removed from Shazam and then have his own origin story movie and film. And again, the internet does what the internet does. And again, a lot of people see this as some sort of like highfalutin person trying to come out and just, be very arrogant on The Rock's part to come out. Like, again, like, I don't understand people. I try to bring myself down to a level. Like, the way that my mind works is that I process information, and then before I express my opinion, I try to think about every angle that that person could be coming from before I actually start talking. But I feel like a lot of you guys out there, you guys get information, you process it, and then you immediately start hating or just getting angry about it because it didn't fit the narrative that you had built up in your head, your preconceived notions. Or again, you guys have so many issues with people that either have a higher status than you or make more money than you, then you just instinctively hate them or want to find something that's wrong with them to make yourself feel better. That's kind of how I feel sometimes because when I read that story, the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, that kind of makes sense. Especially after you see Shazam, you can see that Shazam was a low budget film that no one really thought was going to take off, and it ended up being a surprise hit. But we've seen many times when you try to shoehorn multiple stories into one story, it ends up being a bust on both ends. So when I read that, I was like, that absolutely makes sense. Again, Shazam and Black Adam are not even the same type of characters, and that would try to make Shazam the villain. And again, Shazam beating The Rock, who is Black Adam, that would devalue Black Adam's movie going forward because again Black Adam is supposed to be this character that's going to do a dynamic shift. He's supposed to be an anti-hero. He's not a base level villain. Like he's not a Green Goblin to a Spider-Man. You see what I'm saying? And again, I brought that up because again there was a TikTok that I saw where this TikToker was basically coming out saying that this was The Rock's ego, and The Rock was being very condescending, talking about he didn't need to share screen time with Shazam, and that Shazam is not this. And then he tried to compare what Rock said about Black Adam to the Green Goblin in the original Spider-Man movie by saying that what if William Dafoe came out and was like, I definitely think that the Green Goblin should get his own solo film before being in Spider-Man because it's going to do a disservice to the Green Goblin. Where number one, it's the stupid and this is the most dumbest analogy I've ever seen in my life. It's like comparing apples to hand grenades. Like in the original Spider-Man film, Green Goblin was cast as the villain. He was the main antagonist to Spider-Man Tobey Maguire's character. He was a villain. In Black Adam's origin stories, Black Adam is not the bad guy. Black Adam is an anti-hero. He's not a hero, but he's not a villain. He's like kind of smack dab in the middle. He's that character that, hey, I'm going to do what serves me best, but hey, I will actually kill you. So don't expect me to be this heroic Superman type figure. You mess with me, I will kick you halfway across the city. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So to me, when I see that The Rock was going to be doing his own origin story, in my head, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, it would devalue Black Adam as a character if he was to show up in that low budget Shazam film, basically get his origin story, have this little scuffle with Shazam, and then lose. And then all of a sudden, we get to finally figure out his backstory and be like, oh, that's the guy that lost to Shazam in the first movie. He lost to Billy Batson, that little boy, and Zachary Levi. Like, no, that would have totally devalued the character of Black Adam. And again, that's my opinion. But again, I think that he did the right thing The Rock did. So let's go ahead and just quickly look at what was said by The Rock. And again, this comes from Variety. It says, when the first draft of the movie came to us, it was a combination of Black Adam and Shazam. Two origin stories in one movie, Johnson said. Now, that was the goal. So that was apparently the goal, but it wasn't a complete surprise to The Rock. Now, when he read that, he just knew in his gut. He was like, look, I can't make a movie like this. We would be doing Black Adam an incredible disservice. It would have been fine for Shazam having two origin stories converging into one movie, but it's not good for Black Adam. And again, it basically says that the sentiment prompted Johnson to make a phone call, voicing discomfort with the idea. He explained that Black Adam and Shazam are fundamentally different characters, and introducing them both in the same movie would be a disservice to both of them. He believed that in the end, any potential showdown between the two characters would be richer if they were both introduced in separate films. And again, I do think that the way that The Rock explained it was very elegant, and again, it makes sense. Again, you have two Shazam movies now. We have Shazam Fury of the Gods, and we have the original Shazam movie. Again, the original Shazam movie was great. It had a comedic light tone. I don't think, and you see any trailer from Black Adam, does that fit something that would have been in Shazam? Like, can you imagine, like, Black Adam looks like a serious, gritty, like, Man of Steel-esque film. That would not have fit in Shazam. It just wouldn't have fit. So to me, it makes perfect sense. Shazam gets his second movie, Black Adam gets his movie, and again, fingers crossed, Henry Cavill will come back as Superman and will get his second film, and then we will have a combined film where it's Shazam versus Black Adam versus Superman, or however they want to do it, and it's just like the worlds collide, and again, that to me is an Avengers level threat if it's handled properly. So again, I guess what I'm trying to get across is that I feel like instead of you guys grabbing your pitchforks and just being ready to just blast something or try to get real quick views and clicks, just take the time to just kind of sit back and analyze and see where the other person's coming from before you start grabbing your pitchforks. That's all I'm saying. So that's going to be it for the random nerd news. Let us get into anime. All right, guys, welcome back, Mag Nerd Podcast. It's time to talk about some anime. Ooh, ooh, you know I love me some anime, guys. Look, let me tell y'all something. I am a anime junkie. All right, like when I think about what I do in the day between working, taking care of my family, spending time with my wife and two girls, I think about what do I spend most of my time doing and what do I want to spend most of my time doing. And again, before I would probably about 6 months ago, I'd probably say it would be, thoroughly involved in like action figures and things like that. But recently, it's kind of been more skewed towards anime and playing video games, namely WWE 2K22. Like I am absolutely obsessed with that game. Like again, if you guys, it's a problem. Like I play that game way too much. I don't even want to talk about the hours I spend in that game. But anyway, so I am again a huge anime fan. Like I live and breathe anime every day. If I don't watch an anime every day, I start getting the itches. Okay. So it was again, I'm a part of the anime community. People fight about all the crazy shit that's been going on. And one of the things that people were talking about recently, one of the dramas that popped up was there was a gentleman who came out on TikTok and was basically saying that he wants to start asking women to show their Crunchyroll list in order to prove that they are real anime fans. And again, it started this whole controversy because they were like, women started calling them misogynistic, that thing. You know how it works now. You say anything that a girl doesn't like, she calls you misogynistic. That's the key buzzword for all the flies that start attacking and trying to jump up on them. Now, I understood what he was trying to get, the point he was trying to make in his video. I think he did a very poor job of articulating what he was trying to say. I took his words as trying to say that in the past 2 to 3 years, probably a little bit more like 4 years, like right before the pandemic, so I'd say about 2018. Again, let me explain you guys something. For you younger people that are watching now, that are all enthralled in the world where anime is cool, anime is the litmus test, and being a nerd and everything is a good thing. You have to look at it from a perspective of somebody who grew up when those things were not true. Again, I am the anime OG, triple OG. Like I have been watching anime since the '80s. Okay, I'm not. I'm not going to tell you guys my exact age, but again, just know that I've been watching animes since the '80s. So again, I'm well over 35. So I've been watching anime longer than a lot of you guys have been alive, okay? And when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, watching anime, being a nerd was not a cool thing. It was very looked down upon. If you weren't watching football or baseball or doing some other random shit like that, you were not cool. Like I was that prototypical nerd back in the day. Even when I grew up and even when I my taste evolved. I've always been the same person. Like my wife will tell you, I've been my wife for almost 20 years. Again, we've been married for 10 plus years, but we've been together for almost 20 years. And when she first met me, again, I watched anime. I watched comic book movies. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I was that dude that was in these sweaty convention halls with all these other nerds playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On Saturday mornings. Like I would go to comic book shops and play Yu-Gi-Oh! I would be laying down on the carpet in bookstores on the weekends playing Yu-Gi-Oh, playing video games with my friends. I did not care because again, it's what I love, it's what I had a passion for. And again, I had no apologies about it. Like I was that kid in high school who would get their breakfast and I would go in the cafeteria behind all the tables before they set up for lunch, and me and my friends would play Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Like I was that quintessential nerd when it was not cool to be for, when people were getting beat up because of the things that they like. So when we go through those kind of things and then we come on to TikTok and we start seeing all these people talking about how oh, anime's always been popular, and oh yeah, I like you see all these like uwu girls coming out with butt plugs in and trying to plug their OnlyFans and plug their chatterbaits and all this other stuff. It's very frustrating because again, when you see somebody taking something that's now a trend and they're trying to make it seem like this is something they were always doing and they were always on, and you know that was not the case, it makes you mad. So again, I understand where that guy was coming from because essentially what he was trying to say is that again, where were all you women that claim that you guys were like these like huge anime fans and that you like there was a video that he stitched where it was this girl that was like, where are all the overweight men who like to play video games and anime? Why can't I find a guy like that? It's fucking cap. It's fucking cap. You were never checking for dudes like that, and you not. And I'm like, the only reason why you're doing that is because you want to get clout and you want to get clicks, and that is what it is. I'm like, you're not checking. You're not checking. You're not checking for as a whole overweight dudes that like anime. Just trust me, they're out there. They're out there a lot, and I can guarantee you that a lot of them are not getting any play from y'all. Y'all to be the same ones be trying to date them thugs and date them dudes until they do y'all wrong, and then y'all end up turning around and hating men. But again, this is not a conversation about that, all right? And again, I'm not one of those haters. Again, I am a happily married man, father of 2 kids. I have a beautiful wife who worships me. So again, I am not. That is not me. So don't try to bait me into one of them like incels. I just speak the truth. Okay. So anyway, the thing about me is that I am unapologetically me. That's the one thing that if anybody that knows me on a personal level, they know Shonuff is unapologetically me. Like I have been the same person that I've always been. I've always liked the same things. I've always been the same mentality the way that I've always been. It's just how I am. I like what I like, and nobody will ever change that. Or no, I would defend myself even physically to like the things that I like. So again, that's just I wanted to get that out the way. So again, so the bottom line with that whole situation is that again, I definitely think that there are a lot of girls out there now, younger girls, who see this as an opportunity to get money from desperate boys who can't get any pussy any other way. So there are a lot of guys out there who do not get played. These are the overweight guys. These are the guys who like anime, who like all these nerdy things, and they just don't have any game. But then you have these girls that are trying to play to them because again on the internet you can be whoever you want to be. You can create this whole mystique and make people believe that something that is not true. So a lot of times there are guys out here who try to call you guys out on it, and then you just try to call them misogynistic by just trying to express that hey, there are a lot of women out here who are influencers who basically just want to push the traffic to their OnlyFans or push the traffic to their Twitch stream where they're sitting there in bikini tops with the titties popping out and they got the little anime eyeglasses and they're just like, doing that little weird shit all the time. And I'm like, we know what that is. So I'm not saying I understand he was not saying all, but there is enough of you guys out there for it to be a concern. That's all I'm saying. Like again, I don't want to get too much into that kind of stuff, but those just are my thoughts on the anime uwu girls. I definitely think they're not good for the community, and I hope they are swiftly weeded out. But again, unfortunately, in this day and age where tits and ass are what sells, guys they're gonna simp. Simps are gonna simp. That's just how it is. In other anime news, so officially after 10 days, One Piece Film Red becomes the franchise's #1 film. So it looks like it sold 5 million tickets, which equates to about 7 billion yen, which is about $52 million in US dollars in 10 days. And that is a huge accomplishment for Oda and for One Piece. Again, I am a huge One Piece fan, so I'm hyped about that. Now, again, I had heard spoilers about the One Piece film, Red film, and again, whether or not it is canon is debatable. I know there was like a tie-in episode that just premiered last week on Crunchyroll. I didn't actually watch it. Again, like I just wanted to kind of stay consistent with the whole Wano Kuni arc, so I didn't watch the most recent episode of One Piece. When it comes to One Piece in general, like I'm not a huge fan of their movies. Not because they're not tied in, they're not canon necessarily. Because again, I know a lot of times One Piece films are pseudo you know, canon, but from the spoilers that I saw, it looked like, even though Shanks is in the actual episode, and again, potential spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm not going to spoil the film, but I'm just going to talk about some things that I heard about in the spoilers that I heard. Number one, that Shanks and Luffy don't actually meet or talk to each other in the film at all. And again, that actually makes sense to me because again, that is going to be something that's not even happening in the manga. So why would they spoil that or do that in a film? And the second thing is that we don't actually see any like real like Shanks feats. Like we don't see him do anything outside of what we would see in a manga or in anime. Like I know he has some sword fight scenes from my understanding, but we don't see any like crazy advanced hockey feats from Shanks or anything like that. And again, I'm not saying I'm upset about it because again, I understand that that is something that needs to happen in a manga before we see it in any other sort of media. But again, to me, that just tells me that a film that's based around Shanks that doesn't actually give us a lot of Shanks doesn't really warrant my time. Like that's to me is something that I can wait and see on the side. Like I don't need to see this in theaters or this is something I can catch once it comes on Crunchyroll or whatever the case may be. So that was kind of the situation from One Piece Film Red. Now, again, going back to the Crunchyroll list that I was talking about before with the guy who had said he wants to start seeing girls Crunchyroll list, it actually made me think and go into my own Crunchyroll list and kind of see how many anime do I have in here. Now, again, I won't bore you guys with the whole thing, but again, I'll try to show you. Like, here's my Crunchyroll list, and again, it's very, very extensive. Like, these are all the animes that I am watching and have been watching. So, like, these are like pages and pages and pages of shit that I've been watching. Like, it just keeps going. So, but what am I watching right now? Oh, so right now for this season, yesterday I watched Classroom of the Elite episode 7, which is a really good episode. Classroom of the Elite is kind of slow this season, but it's still that slow build that I really enjoy. Orient, that is an anime that I did not see myself enjoying so much. Like Orient, the first half of the first season was your basic, like kind of like anime, kind of like the Naruto structure where you got two boys and a girl. They have these like swords and they fight these oni and they have to link up their powers in order to defeat people. The first couple of episodes of the show was solid. It was something that I watched, but it wasn't anything that I was actively watching. But now this second half of the season has just been amazing. Like now that they've met up with the other Bushido clans, things have just started to get very, very interesting, and I'm really, really digging Orient. Uh, Black Summoner. That is another like isekai kind of like show that has just been out. I think it's up to like episode 6 now. I'm really, really liking Black Summoner. Like I'm really digging that one. So if you guys want to watch something, that's something that you definitely want to watch. Also, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. I thought that show was going to be actually pretty good. I'm not really digging it. Like I'm watching it, but I'm not actively watching it. It's not something that I look forward to every week. But again, you guys let me know. Overlord. Now I'm watching Overlord, and again, as a whole, I really, really like Overlord. But I can honestly say that this season of Overlord has not been as good as the episodes of the past. Like again, I understand with Overlord, it's kind of more of a slice of life type of anime where it's kind of like that slow burn. It's still enjoyable to watch. I still look forward to watching it every week. But again, it's just something that's not at the top of my list so far this year. Of course, One Piece and Ao Ayashi. Again, I love Ao Ayashi. I talked about this on my TikTok. Aoayashi is a soccer anime. Absolutely, absolutely love it. And that's pretty much it. Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. Boy, my boys. This is for my boys that love that cultured anime. All right, that cultured ichi anime. Okay, do not watch it on Crunchyroll. All right, let me show it to you guys so you guys will know what I'm talking about here. And again, this is for my people who are only watching the video version of the podcast episode. Obviously, if you're not looking at this on the video, then you won't be seeing it. But this one right here, Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. Do not watch that on Crunchyroll. Don't do yourself a disservice for that. there are certain websites where you can watch the uncensored version of this anime, and I have read the manga that this is attached to, and mwah, it is peak etchy content, boy. Let me tell you. Woo! Cannot wait. But anyway, the anime is amazing. I look forward to watching the uncensored version on other websites. Again, I am not dry snitching on myself and getting the website taken down, so I will not be telling you guys where I watch it. But just search it. You can find multiple websites to kind of watch the unedited version of that anime. And the last thing is kind of like Chainsaw Man. That anime is coming, so definitely stay tuned for that as well. The last thing I wanted to talk about in anime today is I wanted to talk about Dragon Ball Super Hero. Okay, now this is an anime that came out in Japan over a month ago, but is now starting to hit the United States. So everybody should have watched it. Again, the spoilers have been going around, so there is no like if you took the time to see it, you would have seen it by now. So the big controversy was Gohan and his new form, and how people thought it was just a waste. The story didn't make sense. And again, to me, the only people who would say that are people who only watch Dragon Ball through YouTube clips, because there's no way you're going to explain to me that you watched that movie and you did not understand why Gohan had that power up, and the story that was built behind that was completely factual. Like it makes perfect sense. From the beginning, it was always stated that Gohan was the strongest. Like originally, it was supposed to end after the Cell Saga, but of course the show was so popular they ended up going. But again, Gohan hitting Super Saiyan 2 at that point was the peak of being a Saiyan. He was supposed to end there, but of course the show had to go on. Da 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 da. It's a story for another day. But through Gohan's history, it was always established that he had latent potential that was nobody else had. And again, this kind of thing had been built up before when Dragon Ball Z first started. From the moment where he got mad and then he ended up bashing into Raditz, from the moment where he was fighting Frieza and all those power ups, like. So the fact that Gohan was able to get this like final Gohan rage mode, Beast Gohan mode, and people was like, that's not realistic. He just got a power boost out of nowhere and da 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 da. Like again, this is the thing that I was talking about before, where I'm like, you guys that don't like Dragon Ball for some reason, you guys would just sit there and then take something and then just go somewhere where it doesn't even make sense. Because again, I'm like, if you've watched anything outside of YouTube clips, you will understand that Gohan getting his power up makes absolute sense. Again, it's a rage-based power-up. And again, he was always meant to be one of the strongest characters in the show. People were complaining for decades that Gohan needed another power-up after his Ultimate Gohan form, because Gohan had been put to the back seat and was getting beat up by Frieza soldiers. Like again, like this was a long time coming for Gohan to get his power up, and then as soon as he gets his power up, the fans start turning against him. Like that to me is just mind-boggling. Like again, I was one of those people where like I want to see a stronger Gohan, I want to see a stronger Krillin, and I want to see a stronger Piccolo. And we ended up getting both a stronger Piccolo and a stronger Gohan. But you guys are complaining about it. I'll never understand that kind of shit. I swear I won't. So those are my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super. The last thing that I want to talk about, again, I'm gonna touch on this very, very small, because again, I managed to stay away from the drama of it on TikTok, but I want to make sure that I don't take it too far. So again, there is a concerted effort between certain people where they like to get people canceled, and apparently Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, there were people that were trying to go after him for a comic strip that he did like damn near like 30, 40 years ago. And basically, to make a long story short, there was a comic strip that he did about 30 plus years ago, where it was a female superhero, and every time she tried to break up a crime or something, some sort of sexual assault or essay, to be, because the algorithm don't like you to say the full thing or grape, but she would be essayed in a comic strip or something to that effect. So again, he wrote this comic strip about 30, 40 years ago, and then now for some reason people have dug it up to try to use this as a way to get him canceled. Number one, you can't cancel anybody from Japan over in the United States. It doesn't work that way. The people over in Japan do not give a flying fuck about what we think about them. They just don't. So it's always comical to me when people over in the States try to use the whole cancel culture of the United States to try to cancel somebody over in Japan because they don't care. And in regards to the actual comic strip itself, even if it's out of your taste and the things that you would watch or read, that doesn't mean that's how it's looked at over there. Like, art is a very subjective form of expression. Okay, like some of the things that they put out, you guys are not gonna like, but it doesn't make them a monster or a predator or something to the effect of those kind of things. So I also thought it was kind of funny that with all of that, with the comic strip, they were also trying to bring out some old ass interview that he did again decades ago, where I think somebody had a question about what would he do if he was like retired, and then I think he had said something along the lines of, oh, he would be a pervy uncle that would look at his daughter inappropriately or something to that effect. Again, don't quote me on the exact way that happened, but then people try to take that little snippet of it. It didn't apply to context and the fact that he doesn't even have a daughter. He actually has a son, and then they try to run with that and try to call him a predator. So like again, just every now and again these kind of things pop up. It's very, very annoying, but again, I just wanted to talk about it because again, I saw about it floating around on TikTok and it really like grinded my gears, and I wanted to talk about it on TikTok, but at the same time I didn't want to give it too much attention so that it would just spread more. Not that I'm a big creator that could do that, but again, I feel like when you get stupid stuff like that, the best thing to do is to just let it be smothered by not interacting with it, because as soon as you start interacting with it, the algorithm sends it out to more people. So my philosophy is when stupid things like that happen, I just try to not even acknowledge it and just hope that it just goes away, because again, to me, it's just people who are in desperate need of clicks. So they just like, what kind of controversy can we start? What kind of people can we get canceled? And then again, low hanging fruit is what I like to call it. So, and again, let me be clear. If that comic strip offended you, the one that Akira Toriyama wrote or drew 30, 40 years ago, then you should not be reading or watching anything in the manga verse, because I can tell you right now, from that, even that little cartoon anime strip, that is like a point zero 0.01 on a Richter scale of shit that has been published over in Japan. Trust and believe. And I'm not even talking about underage stuff. Or lolly stuff. I'm talking about just regular, like rated 18 and older stuff. Like, if you guys have never read Emergence, go look that up, okay? If you thought that offended you, that comic strip that Akira Toriyama wrote, go read Emergence. I'm not even going to say anything else. Just go read Emergence, and I promise you, you will understand. Like, that is nothing. That is like, I have a tough exterior, and even I read Emergence, and I was just like, damn. Like, I don't even think I can go back and read it again. That's how much that shit messed with me. But again, that's neither here nor there. I didn't go grab a pitchfork and go try to get whoever wrote Emergence canceled, because again, art is a subjective. In manga and all that other stuff, it's art, and again, it's very subjective. Again, if you don't like it, don't consume it. But again, you don't have the right to just tell people what can and cannot be created. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make. And you can't try to vilify people for that kind of stuff. So yeah. But that is it. This has probably been a long episode once I splice everything together. I hope you guys like this format. Again, let me know what you think. The feedback is going to be extremely helpful to, make sure that this kind of content just keeps coming. So let me know. Make sure you guys follow me on all my social media platforms. Again, Magnerd Podcast on Instagram, Magnerd Podcast on Facebook. You can also follow me on TikTok, which is at Shonuff the King. And you can also follow my YouTube, which is Shonuff the King. Again, thank you guys so much for your continued support, and I will be back next week with the next episode of the Mag Nerd Podcast. Peace.